For spine-chilling true stories of sinister trespasses, discover the haunting secrets exposed. Carrie never realized how quickly her life could spiral. Just 6 months ago, she was a loving wife, juggling playdates and family dinners. But now, she was a single mother navigating the dark corners of her new reality. The chill of autumn wrapped around her in the dim hallways of Oakdale Elementary as she pushed her mop back and forth, shivering at the solitude. Suddenly, her phone buzzed, a sharp contrast to the eerie silence. Expecting a message from a friend, she was instead met with words that sent ice through her veins. "I saw you today at the park with the kids. They're beautiful." First, it felt like a cruel prank. She brushed it off, telling herself she was overreacting. But a part of her trembled. She had watched her children play in the leaves just hours before, their laughter echoing around the once happy memories of their father. Swallowing hard, she focused on the drill of her job. The repetitive motions anchored her to the floor, even as something sinister lingered just outside her reach. When Carrie returned home, the warmth of the familiar offered little comfort. Dinner was a simple affair, grilled cheese and tomato soup shared with her kids, their smiles nearly enough to distract her from the nagging dread twisting in her gut. Tucking them into bed, she attempted to find solace in the mundane rituals, but it didn't last. Each day brought more messages, encroaching on the fragile peace she crafted. "I know your favorite store. Your daughter wears a pretty red coat." Someone was watching. Panic would set in, clawing at her throat, and she'd force herself to smile for the kids. Pay no mind to the shadows that danced just out of sight. Desperation drove her to neighborhood gatherings. Over casseroles and chit-chat, she shared her worries with Rita, who offered little more than sympathetic nods, assuring her to not take it too seriously. But Carrie could no longer ignore the whispers of her quiet suburb. The way the friendly neighbor next door watched her, or how the town's annual charity worker seemed omnipresent, it felt wrong. Those who once seemed trustworthy now mirrored her fears, every cheery smile concealing an unsettling possibility. That night, a message broke her spine. "Your children will be safer with me," it read. Heart racing, Carrie took her kids to the park, pushing against her instincts. The dusk settled quick, the vibrant colors fading into shadows, and she fought the rising tide of dread. As she scanned the flickering playground lights, the gnawing fear sent cold shivers down her spine. Yet she clung to hope, brushing away the encroaching darkness. Just then, her phone buzzed again this time. The chill gripped her chest. "They'll be safer with me." As panic consumed her, she rushed home, slamming the door behind them. The lock clicked oddly loud in the silence. Each creak of the house unsettled her, and when footsteps scuffed against the ground outside, her breath hitched painfully in her throat. As she peered through the curtains, a silhouette loomed near, familiar yet terrifying. Just then, the doorbell rang, and her heart thundered. Someone was there, someone she couldn't trust. But in the back of her mind, fear stirred as another message pinged. "I know where you are now, Carrie. You can't hide forever." The walls of her safe haven felt like they were closing in, and she was trapped somewhere between the terror that awaited her beyond the door and the torment creeping ever closer. Was it really the neighbors she had trusted? In that heart-stopping moment, she wondered if she'd ever uncover the truth, or if she would simply vanish like so many before her. Carrie's heart pounded in her chest, drowning out the echoes of her children's sleepy whispers. The doorbell rang again, persistent, urgent. It pulled at her confidence, drawing her closer to the fear that gripped every corner of her mind. She backed away from the curtains and pressed her back against the wall, heart racing like a caged animal. Who was out there? With a shaky breath, she hesitated, paralyzed by the decision that weighed heavily on her. Do I open the door? Who could it be? Mustering every ounce of courage, she crept toward the door. The dim glow from the hallway light flickered, casting long shadows on the walls. She peered through the peephole, but the person stood at an angle, their features obscured. Carrie. It was Rita's voice. Are you home? Relief flooded through her, but dread clung to her like a second skin. Why was Rita here now? In the chaos of her thoughts, she had forgotten about the closest friend in her life, the very person who had reassured her that things would be okay. Opening the door just a crack, she whispered, "Rita, is it really you?" "Of course. Thank goodness. I was worried, are the kids okay?" Carrie swung the door open, relief mixing with anxiety. "They're sleeping. What's going on? Did you get my voicemail?" Rita's brow furrowed with concern. "You seemed off earlier. I wanted to make sure you were all right." Carrie shook her head. "I'm not all right. I don't know what's happening. I feel like someone is watching me." "It's just your imagination. You're under a lot of stress," Rita replied, but her voice lacked conviction. Still, the look in her eyes caught Carrie's breath. But just then, her phone buzzed again, the sound racing through the living room and unsettling her heart. Before she could react, Rita snatched the phone off the table, her expression twisting from curiosity to panic as she read the new message on the screen. "You shouldn't interact with him, Carrie. Not ever. This isn't a game." Whom are you talking about? Just please don't." "I know who it is." "What do you mean, you know?" Carrie shot back, anger eclipsing her fear. But the fear returned when Rita's next words hung heavy in the air. "We need to go. Now." Fear rippled through Carrie, an idea surfacing in the depths. What if Rita, too, was part of it? What if she brought danger to their doorstep? Stepping back, she crossed her arms. "Why? Are you involved?" "Don't be ridiculous," Rita snapped, the tension between them thickening as both women stood their ground. "It's that him." Carrie took a breath, the chill creeping down her spine. "What do you want from me?" Just then, the power flickered, plunging the house into darkness. The kids stirred, restless in their sleep. Panic surged as Carrie fumbled for her phone, turning on the flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness. A shadow moved just outside the window. "Carrie," Rita hissed, her voice trembling now. "We have to go." But Carrie was frozen. A flash of movement outside snapped her into action. What was that?" "I told you. You're in danger. Just trust me." Heart pounding, Carrie looked toward the window again, all too aware that the safety she clung to was nothing but a fragile illusion. "Is it the neighbors?" she whispered, desperation leaking through her voice. "No." Rita took a step toward her, grabbing her arm. "Someone far worse." In that moment of hesitation, another message delivered a gut punch. "I see you, Carrie. You're not alone." Terror unfurled inside her. The walls felt too close. The air was too thick. Breathless, she spun to Rita. "What does he want?" Without another word, Rita pushed past her, urgency igniting in her eyes. "We need to leave. Now." But as they reached the door, it swung open, revealing a dark figure cloaked in shadows. The room was filled with a chilling stillness as Carrie's breath caught in her throat. "Welcome home, Carrie." What was happening? Who was it? And how had they gotten so close? The horror of the night had just begun. The figure stepped into the faint light, revealing piercing eyes that seemed to glow with a malevolent intent. Carrie froze, the full weight of dread crashing down on her. This was not someone who had come to help. It was a predator. The shadowy face twisted into a smirk, a grotesque mask of enjoyment at her terror. "Who are you?" Carrie's voice trembled, barely a whisper. "Your guest," the figure replied, its voice smooth yet dripping with venom. "But I like to think of myself as a friend from a long time ago." Rita stepped forward, her own terror giving way to anger. "Get away from her." She pushed against Carrie, her eyes darting to the figure then back to Carrie. "We need to go. Now." But Carrie couldn't move. She was locked in place, her instincts screaming at her to escape but her body refusing to respond. The figure chuckled softly, a sound that crawled under her skin. "Flattered to see you again, Rita. But you can't protect her. She belongs to me now." "What do you mean?" Carrie finally found her voice, a mix of fear and confusion. "Who are you? Really? You've forgotten?" The figure tilted its head, seeming almost amused. "You've tried so hard to erase me, but here I am back to remind you of all your little secrets." As the last word slipped from its lips, horror etched itself deeper into Carrie's heart. Secrets? What secrets? But before she could voice her thoughts, the figure raised a hand, and the room grew colder. "Listen well, Carrie," it said, its tone now low and threatening. "I've been watching you. You thought you could hide from me? But you're still the same frightened little girl I remember. You'll never escape your past." Rita grabbed Carrie's arm, yanking her toward the door. "We need to go. Now. Don't let him leave." The figure interrupted, its voice chillingly calm. "But you've barely unwrapped the gift I've brought. I see you, and I am coming for you. You can't run from me." Carrie felt her heart thumping wildly, drowning out Rita's frantic plea. The children stirred again, sensing the tension, but thankfully remained asleep. How much time did she have before the worst unfolded? Suddenly, the lights flickered back on, illuminating the figure's silhouette. It stepped closer, revealing a face twisted in a sickening grin. With that motion, a shower of sparks erupted from the wall, igniting the dread within her. The figure laughed softly. "You think you can protect them? They're part of the game now too." Carrie shot a glance toward Rita, terror crashing through her like a tidal wave. "What do we do?" Rita's eyes darted around, desperate, frantically contemplating their options. "We won't let him take you," she whispered fiercely, squeezing Carrie's arm tight as if that could shield her from the darkness approaching. Then, the message slid into her mind, faint yet insistent. Don't let him win. It was the one piece of clarity she clung to amid the chaos. Suddenly, her old fears transformed into newfound strength. With a rush of adrenaline, she turned and headed for the back door, dragging Rita along. "No, you can't," the figure shouted, its voice dripping with rage, echoing in the small space like a thunderclap. They burst out into the night air, the cool breeze cutting through the haze of terror. But as they stumbled forward, Carrie could feel his presence lingering, following them with invisible eyes. "Where do we go?" Rita gasped, each breath coming in sharp gulps. "We find help," Carrie said, her voice steadying. "We can't let him take us." But even as she ran, the nagging thought remained. What if they were already too late? Behind them, the shadow began to swell, metamorphosing into a darkness all its own, creeping ever closer. The night was far from over, and somewhere in that blackness, the figure was plotting its next move. Rita's voice broke through again, heavy with uncertainty. "What if he's right? What if we can't escape who we were?" Her answer disappeared into the thickening night air. But as they glanced back, the chilling realization gnawed at their hopes the play was just beginning. They ran, feet pounding against the cracked pavement, the cold air stinging their lungs. Darkness enveloped them, thick and suffocating, each beat of their hearts drumming a frantic warning that they were being hunted. "Rita," Carrie gasped, "we need to split up. It's our only chance. I'll make my way to the old diner at the end of the block. Maybe I can get help there." "Are you out of your mind?" Rita shouted, panic flaring in her eyes. "Together we have a better shot. We can't let him get you." The whisper of shadows rustled behind them, a threat lurking. Carrie felt the pressure of that dark presence creeping, closing in. It smelled her fear. "You don't understand," she replied sharply, her voice edged with desperation. "I can't let him take us both." "Don't say that." Rita's face contorted with fear. Tears glimmered in her eyes. "We can beat him together." Carrie hesitated, heart pounding. Every instinct screamed to stand united. Yet a dark certainty emerged. "It's too late for me if I don't at least try before Rita could argue further. Carrie turned and sprinted down the side street, glancing back just once. "Carrie!" Rita screamed, but the sound faded as Carrie pressed onward. A chill swept through the air, wrapping itself around her like a shroud. The diner loomed in the distance, its flickering neon lights a beacon in the abyss. A moment of hope surged. She could make it. Amidst her racing thoughts, another was moving in the dark, a predator drawn to prey by the scent of vulnerability. A sound soft and low whispered close behind. Carrie's heart wrenched in her chest. She forced her legs to carry her faster. Each step resonated against the pavement, heartbeat thrumming in sync. She felt it something pulling at her mind. "Carrie," it echoed, icy fingers brushing her thoughts, wrapping around her heart. You can't escape, you belong to me. She shook her head, willing the voice away. She needed clarity. But darkness clung like fog. The diner was almost within reach. Yet so was the figure draped in nightmares. Carrie burst through the doors, breath heavy and wild. The scent of grease and dust hit her hard. Inside, tables were overturned, chairs scattered like forgotten remnants of lives disrupted. The diner's silence felt ominous, wrapping her ears in an echo of dread. "Hello?" she called out, her voice quaking. "Is anyone here?" Only silence answered, a haunting void where warmth should reside. She stepped further in, every shadow seeming to pulse with malevolence. The flickering lights cast strange shapes that danced and writhed against the walls, making her feel watched. She scanned the room, desperation clawing at her throat. No sign of life, no one to help. Then, a whisper seemed to brush her ear, bringing the scent of regret and darkness. "Welcome back." Carrie froze, dread flooding her veins as she turned slowly. The figure stood in the corner, half hidden in shadow. "Did you think I wouldn't follow? Stay away from me," she shouted, but it sounded weak even to her own ears. Prowled closer, a predator relishing the hunt. "You're still the little girl who ran away. And now," it let its voice linger, "you invited me back. You can't escape your past, Carrie." Her breath hitched. Memories flooded back, fragmented and jagged. "Your friends want to come," it continued, almost soothingly. "And when they find out the truth, they want to help you anyway." What do you mean?" she stammered, her resolve crumbling under the weight of dread. "Oh, you'll see. They have secrets too. Just like you." Hope twisted into anxiety. Who could she trust? She couldn't stay here much longer. As it loomed closer, shadows deepened and stretched, wrapping around her like a suffocating cocoon. "Everything you feared, it's all about to surface," it hissed, mouth curving into that sinister grin. Heat flooded her chest, igniting a flicker of rebellion. "Not if I can help it." She turned to run, but the figure moved with unnatural speed, blocking her path. "Going somewhere?" purred, satisfaction dripping from each word. "What do you want?" "Only what's yours, Carrie. And it's time you learned who you really are." As the darkness swirled, a frantic thought crossed her mind. Could they be inside her already? Just then, a loud crash reverberated outside, disrupting the chilling exchange. A shadow fell across the door. "Rita!" Carrie shouted, hope awakening through the despair. But the figure's laugh was low and mocking. "You think help is on the way? You want to escape me tonight." And suddenly she understood. The night was far from over, and the truth was a cruel master revealing itself one horrifying piece at a time. Would she discover the secrets hidden in the dark, or would she become a part of them forever? Carrie stood frozen, the darkness swirling around her like a malevolent fog. The figure loomed closer, mocking her screams with its sickening grin. Each breath felt heavy and labored, the air thick with the stench of despair. She glanced toward the entrance. Rita was on the other side, and a flicker of hope ignited again, but it was quickly extinguished by the chill from the shadow. "No!" Carrie yelled, desperate now. "You can't have me!" "Such fire!" it taunted, its voice dripping with disdain. "But fire only leads to ash, Carrie. You're already mine." With every word it spoke, the room grew colder. Carrie felt her skin prickle, a creeping awareness clawing at her mind. She swung her gaze back to the shattered diner, the ghost of laughter and warmth replaced by haunting echoes of the past. "Leave me alone," she shouted, not just to the figure, but to her own memories surfacing, threatening to pull her under. She turned sharply, dodging past a table, its worn surface slick with grease and grime. "Where's your friend?" the figure called after her, laughter like nails on a chalkboard. "Hiding? Did she leave you behind like everyone else?" Carrie's heart raced. "Stop. Just shut up." With every step, anger ignited until it burst forth as she hurled a nearby chair at the shadow. It glanced off harmlessly, shattering a nearby window, but the figure stepped back, surprised for a brief second. "Interesting choice," it purred, intrigued. "But that one tea save you." Nothing can. Carrie kept moving, her instincts taking over. She needed to find a way out, a way to escape this nightmare. The old diner felt like a labyrinth of horrors. She sprinted through the remnants of broken dishes and strewn cushions, scanning desperately for an exit. The back door. It flickered in her mind, a chance for freedom. But as she turned, the figure approached again with horrid grace, but a new determination fueled her. "Carrie," it whispered, voice sultry and sinister. "Don't you want to know the truth? Why you're here? Why you can't escape?" She hesitated. The words dripped with temptation. "Because you're just like me," it continued, a chilling smirk creeping across its face. "You've always been connected. Your secrets bind us. Come, let us unravel the threads together." "No," she cried out again, feeling the weight of its words settling deep in her soul, suffocating her will. Every shred of doubt threatened to undermine her clarity. The force pulling her down into the abyss was intoxicating like the dark. But she remembered Rita, her friend, was still out there. "Get away from me," Carrie shouted as she lunged for the back door. She pushed through it hard, the cold night air slapping her face, a reminder that she was still fighting. But there was no safe ground outside. The shadows from the diner chased her, spinning and curling in laughter. "Do you really think you can escape?" The voice echoed from behind as she fled into the night. "You're running toward the truth, not away from it." Carrie ran blindly, the streetlights flickering above casting long shadows behind her. She could almost hear the whispers of everyone who had ever tried to warn her. The regret, the fear, the guilt, it all surged as she fled deeper into the cold streets. Then she spotted Rita, standing still on the sidewalk, frozen in time. Relief washed over her, but an unsettling sensation clawed at her gut. "Rita, you have to come with me," Carrie yelled, but Rita didn't move. She stared, wide-eyed, and Carrie felt the darkness creeping back, wrapping tighter around her. "No," Carrie whispered, dread pooling in her stomach. "What's wrong?" The figure stood behind Rita now, grinning, a grotesque shadow stretching its arms wide. "You found your friend, but you'll soon lose yourself. Secrets have a way of surfacing at the most inconvenient times, don't they?" Carrie's heart plummeted. Everything she'd tried to run from, everything she'd hidden, this sinister presence thrived on it. It wanted to expose her, to unearth the deepest fears she buried beneath layers of guilt and shame. "Help me, Rita," she screamed, but the distance between them seemed to grow, the shadows thickening, swallowing the sound. "Do you really want to know the truth, Carrie?" The figure taunted, its voice echoing through the chilling night. "Who you really are?" Carrie gripped her head, panic rising. She couldn't let it in. Not now, not ever. Each heartbeat thundered like a warning bell, ringing out into the dark. But as she stared into the shadowy abyss, doubt began to creep in again, clawing at her sanity. What if she truly was lost? "What do you want from me?" she cried, desperate for an answer, desperate for clarity. And beneath that question lingered a terrifying thought: what if the truth was worse than the lies she told herself? As the night pressed deeper, Carrie knew she stood at a precipice. What lay beyond would either set her free or drag her into the depths of darkness forever. Would she have the strength to face what awaited, or would she fall victim to the shadows that waited eagerly for her surrender? Carrie stumbled back, her heart hammering in her chest as the figure loomed larger, its shadow stretching across the empty street. Rita remained paralyzed, eyes glassy, as if her very soul had been siphoned away. Carrie felt a pit of dread open within her. "Rita, please!" Carrie shouted again, desperation clawing at her throat. The darkness slithered closer, wrapping around her ankles like icy chains. She couldn't let it win. Not while Rita stood there, a puppet lost in the grip of the unseen. "Rita!" she screamed, shaking her friend's shoulders, but the cold, hollow stare remained. She was slipping away. Carrie turned back, her brow furrowed with fury and determination. "What have you done to her?" Carrie yelled. The figure chuckled, a sound that reverberated like thunder through the night air. "Does it matter?" it sneered, its voice slithering through the street like smoke. Your friend is just another pawn. You are the one who holds secrets worth exposing. Carrie felt the words snake into her mind, tightening like a vice. The shadows danced around her, whispering taunts about her past, her choices. They pushed her, prodded at her weaknesses, tried to burrow inside. She clenched her fists, her nails digging into her palms, grounding herself in pain to keep the darkness at bay. "Stop it," she cried. "You're wrong. I want to let you in." But, Carrie, the truth is freeing. The figure cooed, its smile stretching beyond human limits. "And you've locked it away in your heart. Aren't you tired of holding on?" Rita twitched slightly, her eyes fluttering as if struggling to break free. In that moment, Carrie spotted a glimmer of hope, a chance. She pivoted back to her friend, the remnants of their shared laughter echoing in her memory. They had been through so much together. She wouldn't abandon Rita, not like this. "Rita, listen to me." Carrie's voice cut through the thickening shadows, desperate yet strong. "You have to fight. You're not alone." The figure's laughter erupted again, mocking. "Oh, but she is. The more you call to her, the deeper she sinks. Her reality is forfeit, just as yours will be." The shadows twitched, and panic surged within Carrie. She reached back, grabbing Rita's hand, pulling with all her strength. "Fight! Come back to me! You're stronger than this." But as she pulled, the chill intensified, wrapping around her wrist and clutching at Rita. Carrie felt as if the very ground was unsteady beneath her. Rita's expression shifted, uncertainty creeping into her features. At that moment, the figure took a step forward, its shadowy mass expanding, hungry for the light. "You don't know what you're up against. Stop fighting, Carrie. Embrace the truth or lose everything." The weight of its words suffocated her. Could it really be true? If she surrendered, would it ease the pain? She squeezed Rita's hand tighter. "No, we can't let it win." Rita's eyes flickered again, as if Carrie's words began to reach her. "Carrie?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Yes, it's me. Come back." As the figure surged forward with a snarl, Carrie forced herself to look into Rita's eyes, searching for recognition. "You are not alone, we're a team. Remember our plans? The dream of traveling the world? We stand together." The figure paused, brow furrowed in annoyance, and that small crack of defiance fired up within Carrie. Together Rita echoed, and for a brief second, the grip of the shadows loosened. The storm of darkness hesitated, flickering like a flame threatened by a gust of wind. But it wasn't enough. The figure roared in outrage, and the shadows whispered their wrath. Carrie felt her heartbeat quicken. The cacophony clawed at her. Freedom was within the grasp of her fingertips, but she could feel the crushing weight of despair looming behind her, ready to strike. "What do you really want, Carrie?" The figure hissed, its smile closing in like a noose. "Do you wish to know the truth? Or will you turn your back on it?" "Do I want to know?" Carrie thought desperately. "What if it tears us apart?" In that swirling darkness, amid fear and uncertainty, she realized the only way to confront this was head-on. And suddenly, clear as day, an idea sparked in her mind, an instinct, a chance that had to be taken. "Rita," Carrie breathed, "we're stronger together. Let us reveal our truth." Facing the looming figure, they stood united. As the darkness roared, Carrie felt an overwhelming determination rise within her. Would the truth bind them together, or would it rend their very souls apart? As they stood on the precipice of revelation, could they find the strength within to combat the horrors threatening to expose them both? Carrie's breath was ragged, the air thickening with dread as she faced the monstrous figure, its presence consuming. Rita's hand felt feather-light in hers, but she wouldn't let go. Together, they had made promises that now faded in the dark. Promises that were ready to shatter. Together Carrie echoed, her determination flickering like the dying flame of a candle. Suddenly, the shadows that swirled around them surged with furious vigor. They twisted and writhed, threatening to swallow them whole. Carrie braced herself, her heart pounding against her ribcage as the figure lunged, darkness stretching like an insatiable maw. "Rita!" she screamed, gripping her friend tighter, as if to knit their souls together against the impending storm. Panic spiked through her, a sharp line of ice that coursed through her veins. "We can't let it take you." The figure's laughter became a cacophony, merging with the whispers that echoed around them. "Foolish girl, the truth is already embedded within you. All you need is to let it free." With each word, it seeped closer, wrapping around them both like a vice. Carrie shut her eyes, the shadows clouding her vision. She could feel Rita's warmth slip away beneath the frost of despair. "We've been through worse, haven't we, Rita?" she whispered desperately, searching for a thread of connection. There was a moment of stillness, and, for an instant, Carrie's heart soared. "Yes. Remember that summer at Lake Grace? When we swam out past the rocks?" A flicker of recognition sparked in Rita's glazed eyes. "We said we'd never give up," she murmured, the words pulling her back just a fraction from the edge. "Exactly. We've fought side by side before. This is just another challenge," Carrie urged, feeling the shadows strangling her voice. But the figure wasn't finished. "You think memories can save you? They are but chains, binding you more tightly to your fears." With a sudden lurch, the darkness coiled around Carrie's throat, squeezing just enough to take her breath away. She gasped, her pulse pounding in her ears, each beat a reminder that time was running out. Panic surged anew. "Rita, fight! We were never meant to be victims." Rita's face twisted in pain, as if she were struggling against an unseen force. "Carrie, I'm scared. What if? Listen to me. Look at me." Carrie's voice cracked, raw with pleading. "Remember who you are. Remember us. We have to be brave. Together." The figure recoiled, a snarl tearing from its mouth. "The truth is hidden. You cannot escape it. You will fall into the abyss." Carrie felt hot tears slip down her cheeks, each one heavy with the fear of losing her friend. "I won't give up on you, Rita. I refuse." And then it happened, a flicker in the abyss. A brief moment of clarity in Rita's eyes sparked hope within Carrie's chest. The shadows thinned, just for a split second. "Carrie?" Rita's voice was small, delicate, like a candle struggling against the wind. "Fight back. Don't let it take you." With urgency, Carrie took a step closer, letting their memories flood her mind. Shouts of laughter, secret adventures, times they had been heroes in their own story. "You're not lost, Rita. You are stronger than this darkness." In that instant, the figure's ghastly form faltered, its laugh becoming a guttural growl. Shadow buckled under the weight of love and connection. "No, this isn't how it ends." Carrie willed her heart into her words, desperately pouring every ounce of their shared strength into the moment. "Rita, come back to me." As if on cue, a light flickered within Rita's eyes, a fragile spark breaking through the haze. "Carrie, I'm here," the figure shrieked, shards of shadows splintering around as it thrashed wildly. "You cannot defy the truth." But for Carrie, all that mattered was Rita. "We'll carve our truth together." With a final surge of hope, they pushed back against the darkness, coherence shattering the thing that had tried to claim them both. What if they could emerge unbroken? But the figure lurked, still defeated but far from done. This isn't over. As the air around them shimmered with malice, Carrie knew that. The darkest shadows often lingered long after the dawn. Would the power of their bond be enough to face what waited beyond? Carrie felt the grip of the darkness loosen, but only slightly. The air was thick with an electric charge, a swirling tempest of uncertainty and terror. She still held Rita's hand, but she could sense the tenuous connection fraying at the edges. "You okay?" Carrie asked, her voice trembling. Rita nodded, but her eyes were clouded, still flickering between fear and determination. "What now?" It didn't just disappear. Carrie glanced around. The shadows were still there, lurking at the corners of her vision, distortions of reality. "We need to get out of here. We have to find a way to stop it for good." As they turned to move, a chill washed over them, causing goosebumps to rise on Carrie's arms. An unnatural silence filled the air, suffocating and oppressive. They had barely taken a step when the ground beneath them trembled uncontrollably. Everything's shaking. Rita gasped, her grip tightening around Carrie's hand. Before they could react, a blinding flash of light erupted from the darkness, nearly blinding them both. The shadows writhed violently, taking on shapes that scraped against the edge of sanity. Hands thin, claw-like reached out, grasping at the light with ravenous desperation. "Run!" Carrie shouted, adrenaline surging through her veins. They sprinted, heavy panting echoing in their ears. The bitter, haunting laughter followed them, growing louder as they dashed through the thick mist that wrapped around them like a noose. Suddenly, they stumbled into an open space, a clearing engulfed in an eerie glow. The ground beneath was an ancient stone, inscribed with markings that pulsated in time with their heartbeats. "What is this place?" Rita whispered, stepping closer to the markings, her curiosity battling with fear. "I don't know, but it feels wrong," Carrie replied, her instincts screaming that they should leave. As they both examined the stone, the ground let out a terrible groan, and another shadow flared to life beside them. "You think you can escape?" the figure hissed, its voice like nails on a chalkboard. "You're drawn to the truth and it will consume you." "No," Carrie cried out, stepping forward in defiance. "We won't let you take us. We've fought too hard." Just then, the stone flared brighter, illuminating the markings. They shifted and danced, revealing images of past victims, their faces twisted in horror. Whispers filled the air, overlapping frantic cries that clawed at Carrie's sanity. "Help us, save us," Rita gasped, horrified. "They didn't make it. It's feeding off their fear." Panic surged again. "We have to break the cycle. This creature thrives on hopelessness." Carrie turned, her mind racing. "We have to use our memories, our light, to shatter this place. It wants us trapped in this darkness." Rita nodded, her face resolute. "Let us do this together." Drawing strength from each other, they began recalling the happiest moments, moments of freedom, of laughter, of love. Carrie envisioned running under the summer sun-kissed skin, and bursts of joyous laughter spilling forth like bright colors. The shadows recoiled slightly but advanced again, hissing. "You think love can save you? It has no power in my realm." With newfound determination, Carrie screamed, "But it is our light. It will burn through the lies and reveal the truth." As they shouted their memories into the darkness, the light from the stones surged, mingling with their hope and illuminating the space. But the figure lunged forward, desperation fueling its attack. Just as it was about to reach them, the glowing symbols burst forth, showering them with radiant energy, forcing the figure back. But what was that lurking in the shadows now? A darker shade, more menacing, slinking out of sight, waiting for its moment. "Don't look away," Carrie warned. "We can't let it win." In that moment, the shimmering shadows coiled tighter, bringing an icy chill that sent a rush of dread through Carrie. The figure melted back into the darkness, but the new shape extended palms, wearing a smile that felt all too familiar yet wrong. "Let the truth come out," it beckoned. Carrie's heart raced, a pit of dread opening inside her stomach. What was this truth? And why did it feel like a part of them was about to be unwound? Together they held firm. But would their courage be enough against what was really waiting in the dark? With a desperate glance at the looming shadow, Carrie felt her heart pound in rhythm with the whispered cries surrounding them. The air grew colder, heavy with the weight of a terror that seemed to pulse from the depths of the ground beneath them. Rita's grip tightened on her hand, a lifeline in this nightmare. "Who are you?" Carrie demanded, eyes narrowing at the figure. Its shape flickered like a faulty light bulb, teasingly shifting in and out of focus. The smile it wore was too wide, too gleeful for comfort, a grotesque distortion of familiarity that pierced through the veil of her courage. "I am that which you seek," it crooned, the voice low and serpentine, coiling around them. "All your fears, all your failures, I embody them." The laughter that followed was weak, choked, and yet filled with a chilling mirth that slithered through the clearing. "Stop!" Rita shouted, her voice strong yet trembling. "We know your tricks. Your power isn't real. But even as she spoke, the shadows seemed to pulse in agreement, filling the space with whispers that clawed at their minds. But hope is an illusion, the figure hissed. And you, my dears, are standing on the edge of despair. As it spoke, the markings on the stone grew darker, shifting into images that twisted and churned faces that Carrie recognized, fragments of her life slipping into the horror before her eyes. No, Carrie gasped, each image a shard of memory that pierced her heart. Her childhood friend's terrified face, a family member consumed by sadness, moments where she felt utterly alone. Do you remember them? The figure taunted, its voice echoing like a nightmarish backdrop. Their fear flowed into you, shaping your very being. You are a vessel of sorrow. Stop it, Rita screamed, stepping forward. But the darkness surged, a wave of agony crashing over them. Shadows thrashed around her, pulling at her ankles, wrapping tightly. Rita, Carrie cried. She grasped her friend's hand tighter, trying to pull her back to safety. Panic bubbled inside her. How could they combat this malignant force when it fed solely on their fears? Suddenly, the stone flickered again, releasing a blinding burst of light. It illuminated the surroundings, splashing radiant colors across the cursed clearing. But within the brightness lurked the threat of something deeper. A tendril of shadow slipped through the light, trailing like smoke, sinister and relentless. It was trying to escape, Carrie shouted, her voice barely rising over the cacophony of terror swirling around them. We need to push it back. Breath hitching in her throat, she focused on the memories that had once brought her joy, her mother's laugh during summer picnics, running barefoot through the grass, the way the sun felt on her skin. Rita, think of something good. We have to fight back with light. Rita hesitated, eyes flickering between fear and determination. I remember the beach, when we were kids, chasing the waves. Yes, hold on to that, Carrie encouraged. She felt the warmth of Rita's memories flood their connection, pushing back against the encroaching dark. Together, they shouted out, pouring every ounce of love and happiness into the very core of the chaos. The shadows hissed, retreating under the combined force of their memories. But the thing in the darkness shifted back, deeper and darker than before, as if it sensed their resolve and was preparing for a final assault. The chaos and whispers morphed into a ghastly howl, ripping through the air, drowning their voices. You cannot deny your nature, it screeched, clawing at the light with a voluminous rage. Carrie, Rita shouted, panic seeping through her words. It's before she could finish, the ground heaved again, and the stone cracked open, sending jagged shards erupting into the air like deadly spears. Carrie dove to shield Rita as the darkness erupted, scattering into a shimmering nightmare of shapes that clawed at their legs. Find the truth, the figure howled, its voice warping, blending with the screams echoing from the gaping maw of the stone. Only then will you be free. As dazzling light fought with the encroaching shadows, Carrie felt the ground beneath them tremble violently. What truth did they have to uncover? An even darker truth lay ahead, and in that uncertainty, dread curled around their hearts. Stay close, Carrie shouted, adrenaline surging once more. We can't let it tear us apart. But the shadows crept in, ready to devour them whole. What hidden terror waited just beyond the light? Carrie clung tightly to Rita's hand, refusing to let go. The pulse of the moment thrummed like a beat in her heart, each thud echoing desperation and purpose. Together, they faced the howling darkness, raw fear swirling around them, pulling at their resolve like a vast ocean tide. We're stronger together, Carrie shouted, her voice piercing through the disorienting chaos. With every ounce of determination, they began to recall the happiest memories, sunlit days, shared laughter, a bond forged through storms and reconciled with love. The shadows were torrential, but so was their spirit. Remember our plans? Carrie urged, gaze locked onto Rita's. We said we'd never give up. We promised. Rita's eyes shone with newfound clarity. Yes, we were gonna make it out, no matter what. The figure writhed in the shadows, its face contorted with rage. You think your fond memories can save you? They are but echoes. You will drown in your own grief. But now, Each message of despair seemed to fuel their resolve further. No, they shouted in unison, standing strong. Light crackled in the air as they pooled their joy, every flicker feeding into a grand conflagration against the darkness. The markings on the stone pulsed, resonating with a rhythm sourced from their combined memories. It began to glow, pushing back against the shadows that hissed and writhed. With each radiant moment they recalled, the void ebbed and faltered, revealing flashes of agony intermingled with elation. "Push it back," Carrie screamed, her voice full of conviction. "We won't let you take our truth away." The air shimmered as light and darkness battled for dominance. The laughter from deep within the shadows became shrieks of fury, the entity twisting in agony, arms flailing toward the light in desperate attempts to reclaim its power. "Foolish girls," it bellowed, fear creeping into its haunting voice. "You think this will save you? You are but vessels of pain. When we embrace those pains, they help us grow." Carrie shouted back, heart racing. "And that makes us stronger." Rita closed her eyes for a moment, recalling their pact, a bond fortified by resilience. "Together, we face this darkness as one." With fierce intensity, the air around them vibrated, spiraling into a powerful spiral of light from the stone. Shadows recoiled, howling in retreat as the brilliance illuminated the clearing. "Find the truth," the figure screeched once last time, its voice hollow and disintegrating. "Only then will you be free." "Truth," Rita gasped, realization exploding within her. "We need to share our darkest fears." "Yes." Carrie bit back, the idea blooming hope. "Not just the light. We must face the darkness together, the things that bind us." Memories buzzed like fireflies. They breathed life into fears, revealing moments that had shaped them as women: a boy's cruelty, a family member's betrayal, dreams crushed beneath societal expectations. They finally confronted the shadows that had haunted them. The darkness roared furiously as Carrie and Rita poured everything: the laughter, the pain, the secrets that shaped them into a blinding beacon of light. Together, they yelled, their voices echoing in unison, blending like melodies in perfect harmony. A surge of warmth enveloped them, a cocoon of strength and solidarity. The shadows writhed and shrieked, but a radiant shield formed around the girls, illuminating the entire clearing, dispersing the malicious countenance of the figure until all that remained was a thin trail of darkness. Fading into nothingness, the earth trembled one last time, but the storm finally subsided. As the light faded, the insidious aura that threatened them whispered, "This isn't the end, I will return." And then, it dissolved, leaving an uncanny silence broken only by their breaths. Carrie turned to Rita, eyes wide in disbelief and relief. Did we do it?" Rita grinned, all signs of the previous horror washing away. "I think we did, Carrie. We faced it. Together." Tears glimmered in Carrie's eyes, but they weren't born of fear. They were tears of hope. "Let South leave this place behind," she said softly. Together, they turned from the clearing, stepping into the light of dawn that broke upon the horizon, illuminating a hopeful future ahead. The memories they had shared, the truth they had faced, each step forward brought them closer to the freedom they had fought for so fiercely. They walked hand in hand, ready to face whatever awaited together. With strength found in their unity and connection, as they exited the darkness behind them, Carrie felt the weight lift from her shoulders. Secrets no longer chained them. They had unwrapped the gift of truth, a bond forged anew, stronger for the battle endured, and ready to embrace a future laced with promise. This was their moment. They had fought the shadows, and in emerging victorious, they lit a path into the dawn. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Let us keep the light shining.